Welcome back to the Fire Prevention Training video series. Up next, we'll be covering vehicle battery safety, in addition to housekeeping and proper storage practices in the workplace to prevent fires. Besides flammable liquids, another important risk in the auto recycling industry concerns vehicle batteries. Traditional auto batteries are usually made up of lead and acid, now that electric vehicles are becoming more and more popular. We're seeing that lithium batteries are also quite common. We're going to talk about both types in this course. Lead-acid batteries can be a fire risk in auto recycling for a number of reasons. First off, the gases that may leak are a concern. When charging, moving, or shaking a lead-acid battery, it can release a flammable mixture of hydrogen and oxygen gases. If these gases build up in a confined space and come into contact with a flame or spark, they can ignite or explode. Second, short circuits or overcharging can cause a battery to overheat and catch fire. And let's not forget, the sulfuric acid in lead-acid batteries is corrosive and will cause injuries if it comes into contact with workers' exposed skin or eyes. Spilled acid can also damage the environment and property. So what do we need to do to keep safe as employees? We need to make sure that lead-acid batteries are stored correctly and that we are always wearing the proper PPE when handling them. A few quick tips are: store batteries upright. Keep battery vent caps tightly secured. Remove all metal jewelry, including rings, bracelets, necklaces, and body piercings. Avoid placing tools or metal objects near or on top of the battery. Do not lean over the battery while charging, testing, jump-starting, connecting, or disconnecting. Keep flames, sparks, and smoking materials away from the battery. Use insulated tools to prevent sparks. When working with lead-acid batteries, personal protective equipment, PPE, should include chemical splash goggles or safety glasses with side shields worn under a full-face shield, acid-proof gloves made of rubber or neoprene, acid-resistant clothing, or a rubber or neoprene apron, acid-resistant safety shoes or boots. When servicing batteries in the workplace, OSHA requires employers to have an eye wash station located nearby. Now that we've discussed safety and fire prevention around lead-acid batteries, let's switch to discussing the lithium batteries used in electric vehicles. Even though the likelihood is low of a lithium battery fire, if it happens, these types of fires are extremely difficult to control and extinguish. Prevention is the best way of making sure you stay safe from the fire risks involved with lithium batteries. To safely store vehicle batteries after removal, it's crucial to use a well-ventilated enclosure, shielding the battery from the elements located away from your main operations. The National Highway Transportation Safety Administration recommends the battery storage area be located at least 50 feet away from buildings or vehicles. Proper ventilation around and underneath the battery storage area is essential to manage potentially hazardous gases. Be careful not to damage the battery case. Facilities should establish designated areas for battery storage with appropriate fire suppression systems and ventilation to reduce the likelihood of fire incidents. Additionally, following manufacturer's procedures for battery removal and handling can minimize the risk of accidental punctures or short circuits. Regular inspections and maintenance of equipment, along with clear labeling and signage about potential hazards, further enhance safety measures. Please refer to ARA's High Voltage Vehicle Dismantling Protocol, which contains additional safety information specific to EVs and EV batteries. When it comes to housekeeping, there are several prevention methods that can go a long way toward preventing fires. Remove and discard excess packaging, such as cardboard, paper, and plastic cartons, as these materials are combustible and can increase fire hazards. Before storing flammable liquids, wipe down the exterior of containers and make sure all lids are securely in place. Dispose of any spilled waste properly, and never place ignition sources, such as matches, lighting, or electronics, inside or within 10 feet of a flammables cabinet or other flammable liquid storage. Keep waste and garbage to a minimum and empty trash containers as soon as they are full. Emergency exits and egresses must never be blocked, and fire extinguishers should not be obstructed by any objects within 3 feet. And while we're talking about housekeeping, this is a good place in our training video to talk about one type of fire that is common in the auto recycling industry: tire fires. When large piles of combustible waste catch on fire, like tires, it can be extremely difficult to put out the fire because there are large amounts of material burning, which creates large flames and intense smoke. The best course of action we can take to prevent tire fires is proper organization of the materials. Tires should be sorted upon removal and stacked neatly in small piles, not higher than a trailer load. Stacks of tires should be stored far away from ignition sources, like open flames, electrical equipment, and hot work activities. And there should always be adequately sized fire extinguishers nearby in case there is a fire. This concludes Module 2 of the Fire Prevention Training video series. Thanks for your attention to this important information. Be sure to join us again for our final module, where we'll discuss the critical topic of emergency response.